Hi, my name is David Saylor and welcome to Introduction to RasterLink 7. If you're new to Mimaki and you don't have your printer yet, that's all right. You can go ahead and download the software. You can use it for 60 days without putting any serial number. Now, in the video description to this video are instructions on how exactly to install RasterLink 7. It's easy to do, just follow the steps. All right, that's it. Let's jump in. All right, let's go ahead and open up RasterLink software. I have a shortcut created on my taskbar. So when you click on the shortcut, it's going to say, do you want this app? Do you want to allow changes? Yeah. Next, if it comes up to update the software, no thanks. If it's Monday morning, you have a lot of work to do, don't update the software. Update software when you have time. This is just letting you know that there is an update to the software. You don't have to do it at that time. This is the log display box that will come up. For now, I'm just going to minimize it. It's key crucial. That log display is key crucial. All right, here's your RasterLink. Let's go over the screen quick. Now you want to become familiar with the screen. I'm just going to give you the parts of it. Bottom left-hand corner, these are the printers that are installed. You can install 4 printers with one RasterLink 7 on one computer. The next thing is your function icons are on the right-hand side of the screen. So that's where the action is. That's where you're going to make all the changes. You select a function icon of the changes that you want to make, and it'll bring you to that screen. I'm going to show you a couple quick settings to change in RasterLink 7. So the first one is we're going to go to Tool and Color Collection. So we go to Tool, Color Collection. And by default, these are turned off. You're going to want to turn these on. So what happens is, this is a spot color. These Pantone colors are spot colors. And with this checked, Mimaki will replace it with the proper LAB color or the proper color that you want. With this unchecked, it will not use that lookup table for your Pantone colors. So you want all these to be checked. Then select Closed. The next thing I hear is, Mimaki will only allow 200 jobs in the RIP. That is absolutely not true. We're going to change the option here. So we're going to go to Environments and Option. I don't know why you'd want more than 200 jobs, but if you do, you can go to Environment and Option and come down here and it says number of jobs that can be registered, meaning number of jobs that can be in RasterLink. So this you can set to 1,000. By default, it's set to 200, but we want to set that to 300, I guess, or whatever your choice is, you can set that to. A couple other things to take a look at is your display. So I opened up a pretty detailed file and it showed as white, and that's because your default is lower resolution and faster. So if you have a complex file, it won't preview it in the RIP. So I just move it to high because I have a pretty good graphics card on this computer. The third thing that you want to take a look at is the disk tab. So disk space to keep, why don't we set that to 3 or 4, 5 gigabytes, okay? And then we're going to select OK, and that will enact those changes. So let's take a look at the Mimaki screen. So I have a couple of files in here, and I have properties selected. With properties selected on the left-hand side of the screen, it gives you your printer status. And guess what? My 7151, which is selected, it's not connected. Okay, if the printer is connected, it will show you the status and it will show you the ink usage, or the ink that's left. Okay, with Mimaki printers, if the printer is set to local, that means you control it from the printer control panel. When the printer is set to remote, then you can control it from the RIP. This is our job list. And over here, because properties is selected, it's just giving us information about this file that's selected. Now, the great thing about Mimaki RasterLink is we can adjust the size of each one of these panels. And you do that by clicking here and dragging it over. This is something you're going to want to become familiar with because I do it often. I print a ton and I move these often. So if you click here and drag this over, see how it makes this bigger? Now I'm just going to select my UCJV330. This RasterLink training you can use for any RasterLink printer. It's all the same. So see how I drag that over? And then look down here, there is more items down here, right? With that slider up and down. Now sometimes by default, when you first install Mimaki, the warning line comes up at 11 inches. This is in your print preview box. If you've used RasterLink, you notice a red line. That's the warning line. Doesn't mean anything. If you have it, you can set it to 0 right here, and that'll get rid of that warning line. Let's look at the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the page. So see how I move this over and I can access all this information better. So this is my file, the size of the file, the profile that's selected. And down here, after you print a file, it will give you ink usage if you so choose. Let's look at the center. This is a lot of action going on in the center. Again, with properties selected. So each file has a certain color, okay? The white means that it is in the RIP queue. This color green means that it has printed successfully and there's RIP data. This color yellow, this signifies that it has printed successfully and that RIP data doesn't exist. The blue is what you have selected and what you can change. Now over here, layers, this is for special colors or cut, and it tells us with the attribute here. So if we look at this file here, it is a layered file, and it's going to print first and then cut. So it's a two-pass job, color and then cut. And this signifies that this is linked together as one file, and RasterLink treats that as one image or one thing that's going to be sent to the printer or the cutter. This is arrangement. So if you want to print multiple images all on one print preview screen or all at once, you're going to arrange it, and that's signifying that these two image files are layered and arranged. Let's jump right into it and let's go ahead and print a file. So there's two ways that you can bring images into RasterLink. The first one is File and Open, or you can just browse for a file and drag it in this window, and that's going to bring it into RasterLink. For now, let's just select File and Open. Now RasterLink will take, or you can save files from your design program as a PostScript, an EPS, a TIFF, a PDF, a bitmap, a JPEG, or a PNG. Let's choose this flag color file and then select OK. This is important here. This dialog box comes up. Just don't select OK. This dialog box comes up and it just tells us that's where the file is coming from. That's the file name. This is the printer to where it's going to print to. And this is our favorite. Jump on to YouTube at PG Sign Video. We'll do just a video on creating favorites. For now, we'll do it later, but we're going to select OK. So we select OK, and over here in the job queue, you can see that this is doing print. This is just a pre-rip. And here's the file down here. So the file is a print and cut file. It tells us color and cut. So these are the basic actions that you're going to have to do before printing. So the first thing is you're going to open the file, right? The next thing is we're going to set the quality, or how do we want to print that file? So by default on this RasterLink 7, it's going to print 12 by 1800. And I don't want to. And really the best profile to use for this printer is the GPVC profile. And I'm just going to set it to 600 by 600. That's the fastest setting. It's the fastest speed. If you print it at 12 by 12, it's just going to print exactly half the speed and twice the resolution. The other thing that I change is I change color matching to Mimaki Expand Color. Now we're going to learn later in the next video on how to set that up as a favorite, but this is kind of where you're going to be. Now, with Mimaki UV printers, do not get excited about the profile, and I'll tell you why. You can check out a video, it's called Consistent Color. Because it's a UV printer, there's not many attributes that'll change the color, and I printed on 10 different medias, and every color was about 1 delta E away. So it's just incredibly accurate. This profile I find is the best. You might find one that works better for you. This is the best for roll-fed UV. To give you an idea, if you have a UJF flatbed printer, the profile that I find that works pretty well is this one, the white PET gloss. JFX, the profile that works real well, is this Vicom Celtic Vivid White. Okay, let's jump back to our UCJ V330. Once we have the proper profile selected, let's go to our print preview screen. And that's under this green printer icon and general print settings. So let's go ahead and select that. This is our print preview window. So the bottom right-hand corner with every printer is the front right-hand side of the printer. And the left side here is the left side of the printer. That's facing you. So if you're standing in front of a flatbed, this is the right side of the printer, this is the left, and that's the feed direction. So in Mimaki terms, this is scan and this is feed. Okay, that's your print preview window. Now let's expand this and take a look at what's going on over here. Remember I said you're going to learn this. We're going to learn how to move these windows around. So see, I have a lot more information here that was kind of hidden. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is right at the top. This is the size of the graphic. If you want to resize it, you can resize it here. You can rotate it right here, or you can mirror it if you want to print second surface print. This position is the first position of this graphic. If you do copies, it's not the position of the copies, it's the first position of that graphic. So let's say you want to print that an inch in and an inch up. Why don't we do 3 just so you can see a huge difference. So I'm going to set my initial scan position to 3. Now pressing tab will bring you to the next field. And I'll press 3 again. So that moved my graphic 3 inches in and 3 inches up. Now let's say you want to do copies. Let's do a few copies. Now, we want space in between those copies, correct? So your layout here is going to control the space between the copies, where this one controls the first position. So let's change the space between the copies to a 1/2 inch. So we're going to highlight this one and do 0.5. Tab takes you to the next field, and we do 0.5 again. There we go. So our feed position is 0.5 and our scan position is 0.5. This sets crop marks up for cutting. Again, that's another video. We'll go into that later. But this is just simple print. So this is going to give us 14 copies, 2 up, 7 across. This is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. Here's another hint. You can do an each move. So see, before we had it set to block move, so this is the only one that was in preview, and it moves all as one unit. Let's set this back to 3 and 3. Okay, so you can do an each move. I don't know why you would want to do this, but you can move these around so they will print anywhere. But let's say you mess that up, you can just click on this button right here, rearrangement, and it'll all go back perfectly. Arrange in the center is going to arrange your graphics in the middle, but that helps you out a lot when you're doing arrangement, when you want to print more than one object. Okay, so this is a WYSIWYG print screen, right? What you see is what you get, and if this is what you want, let's press the Go button to send it to the printer. Generally speaking, again, we're going to move this over. Generally speaking, I just select Rip and Print. Here's key crucial. This file is a color and a cut file. So if we have print selected, it is only going to print the graphic. It will not cut it. So we need to have print and cut selected. Now let's select Start, and that will send the job to the printer. What happens is it's going to go over here to Rip, and then it's going to send it to the printer, but we got an error. So we got an error here because there's no printer connected. We don't see the ink. And what happened was, see this turned magenta. Here's another hint. Let's say you do have the printer connected and it does give you a magenta line. Well, we want to look and see in the log why this didn't print. So to get that logged up, see where it says Show Hidden Items in Windows? We're going to up arrow and see the RasterLink 7. We can get the log display. Double click on that. So in this log display, it tells us black means that it's an action item or it completed. Blue is a warning and red is a dead stop. So it says we cannot open the port. Please check the connection to the target printer. An error has been detected during locating and printing. Well, no kidding, man, because the printer's not connected. But this is the log display, and it's something that's going to help you out a lot in learning RasterLink. And we can close it and then reopen it. So let's go ahead. This is click along training. Go ahead and go up to the properties in RasterLink. Practice moving these windows around. Okay? And you can do this to make those bigger. I don't know why you would. You can make it smaller so the preview is smaller. So to recap, this is the file that I'm editing over here. If you want to edit this file, you click on that one and this one will turn blue. Those are the function icons. That's where the action is. Properties, arrangement, quality. Now you see some of those functions are grayed out. That means that we cannot do those functions here. So I'm going to just run through it quick once on how to print a file. I'm going to drag and drop it this time into RasterLink. Okay, so we have to get back to this file and select OK. And that brings it into my print queue. The first thing you're going to do is check the quality. I want to print at 600 by 600. I'm going to use the PVC gloss profile. And I change that to Mimaki Expand Color. That's it. Then we go to Print Preview. General Print Settings. I'm just going to arrange it in the center and say I need 35 of these. I'll set a gap of 0.15, 0.15. So since I arranged it in the center, I don't have to move my scan over if I needed to. And you know what? I can fit 5 more. So let's do 40. That's it. WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. If this is what you want, select Go or Execution and print. The things that are going to help you out with RasterLink are favorites. Go to YouTube at PG Sign Video. We have one just on RasterLink favorites. And the next one is special colors. So that's creating white and clear in different passes for UV printers. That's it. That's RasterLink in a nutshell.